You know, the last video I said that if the Heat Summer League squad was a regular season team, they wouldn't be great, but they wouldn't be the worst. But excuse me, because I'm watching this WNBA Finals game. It's a 2-point game with 28 seconds left. If y'all haven't been tuned in, you sleeping out, bro. Ionescu for 3. Oh, it rims out, and the Lynx got the ball down 2 with 20 seconds left, man. Listen, I'm a big proponent of the WNBA. I have been for several years. Obviously, it really hasn't been mainstream until Caitlin Clark took over the last couple years or so. So I know a lot more people are tuned in than they were before. But that being said, ever since Caitlin Clark was eliminated in the playoffs, I feel like a lot of people stopped watching. And there's still a lot of great hoops going on. So if y'all have not been watching, please tune in. If you're watching this video, it's too late to watch the game that I'm watching, which is a phenomenal one. But anyways, I didn't want to wait to start to record this Heat post-game video because a lot of times with these videos, whoever gets them out first gets the most coverage. I guess that's how the YouTube algorithm works. But anyways, if the Heat Summer League squad was a real team, let's say our starting lineup consisted of Isaiah Stevens, Josh Christopher, Keyshawn Johnson, Pella Larson, and Khalil Ware, that's a playoff team. I'm sorry. I'm not going to say they a championship team or nothing. Maybe they could change my mind to think that after the next game, which would be their final preseason game. But anyways, those boys are good because once again, today they come in the fourth quarter. Not a super close game. It was about a 10-point game, but they hoped enough to put away the Atlanta Hawks. As I should say, the Heat get a win 120 to 111. Very interesting game because, of course, it was a back-to-back in the preseason. I know, it's weird. The only thing that's weirder than that is the fact that Spoelstra actually played the starters. Now, of course, this was a back-to-back because it was postponed since it was supposed to be last week. And that was, of course, during Hurricane Milton, which was nothing really in Miami. Fort Myers over here where I'm at, just to give y'all an update, as Kayla McBride drives and she's going for the tie fadeaway. Oh, it looks like they call foul. Oh, that wasn't McBride anyways. That was Nafisia Collier, who's an absolute hooper. But anyways, sorry for the WNBA interruptions if you don't care. And if you do care, I got you. But anyways, just to update y'all, of course, my house in Fort Myers here was good. Didn't even lose power, which is shocking because during Hurricane Ian, we lost power for 8 days. But for this storm, Milton, it was mostly like Sarasota, Tampa, of course, that got affected the worst. But of course, prayers up still to everyone that's affected from that storm. But anyways, that game got postponed, so it was moved to tonight. I certainly did not expect the starters to play because they even played into the second half yesterday, which is new. But Spoelstra really decided to give them run as Nafisia Collier ties it up 77-all, 16 seconds left. Liberty with the ball. I'm calling both games, as Kevin Harlan once said. Anyways, listen, it's the 4th of 5 preseason games. There's not a lot to talk about. We're going to do some other stuff this video. But anyways, where was I at? The starters, they did play tonight, which was surprising. Now, I would assume that means they're not going to play in the final game. So today was the little bit of the last dress rehearsal because, again, you got your 5 starters playing into the second half. And once again, my God, did they come out the gates hot. Absolutely wrecking havoc on the defensive end, particularly in those passing lanes, man. It reminds me of, 2022 when they played the Celtics? And y'all remember when Victor Oladipo, when Jimmy, they were playing, and Gabe Vincent were playing passing lanes and was getting like 15 steals a game? That's what this Heat team has been in the starting lineup. And the crazy part is, they don't have a defensive guard in Victor Oladipo. It's a backcourt of Terry Rozier and Tyler Hero doing it. I heard the great nickname on Twitter today, the TNT backcourt, Terry and Tyler TNT. That's absolutely beautiful. But I have been amazed with how those guys have been able to not only hold their own on the defensive end, but really thrive. You had Tyler Hero again today in the passing lanes. Had a nice clean strip that reminded me of something Jimmy Butler-esque. We see Jimmy Butler do this all the time where he zooms in behind a guy right when he catches it, picks it out, goes coast to coast. This time, Tyler Hero finished with a dunk. We saw Terry Rozier throw a bad lob pass. It ended up being a turnover, then sprinted his ass back on defense and blocked a lob by the Hawks. Looks like the Liberty just got fouled here as well, but they're not in the bonus. But we saw Terry Rozier with that kind of defensive hustle. I'm very, very impressed because obviously this starting lineup theoretically has 4 guys that can score 20 points a night. But we thought that it might not work because of the defensive liabilities of the backcourt. A lot of that's because their size. A lot of that just because they're not great defenders. Ionescu from the logo. Oh! Sabrina Ionescu from damn near the logo puts the Liberty up 3 with a second to go. I know y'all know Iron Asku if y'all haven't seen the WNBA, because she's the lady that almost beat Steph Curry in the three-point contest at the All-Star break. Now you see that wasn't a fluke, which we already knew it wasn't. She is awesome. But damn, from the logo, if y'all ain't see that, go check the highlight. Lynx don't got no timeouts. They inbounding the ball with a second left. Courtney Williams looks to inbound. Goes to Kayla McBride. No good, and the Liberty come away with the win. Damn, what a game, bro. Damn, I'm telling y'all, man, these are some good hoops right now, man. Anyways, back to the Heat game. We was talking about the defense of the backcourts. Awesome. Who would have thought? Speaking of preseason, Eric Reed was in preseason form today because he confused Tyler Hero for Nikola Jovic twice. The only reason I'm mentioning that is because I thought it was really funny, and I'm very curious if anybody else noticed that or caught on to that, because that one of them is 6'4", one of them 6'11". How do you do that, E. Reed? But anyways, as far as the game is concerned, the Heat were actually down at halftime. I know I've spoken very positive. You would think that the Heat were up all game. That's not the case. They were not only down at halftime, they gave up 69 points, nice, to the Atlanta Hawks. But most of that is because the Hawks were just insanely hot from three. Of course, some of that was Garrison Matthews, who still gives me PTSD back from his Lipscomb days when he dropped like 40 on FGCU. But that's a whole other story I've told 100 times on this channel. Maybe we'll tell it again when the Heat play the Hawks in the future if Garrison Matthews kills us. So hopefully he won't, and y'all never hear the story again. But anyways, the Hawks were on fire from three. I think at one point they were like 12 of 13, something crazy like that. Maybe they were like 16 of 21 at halftime. But the fact that they were 16 of 21 from three and they were only up three at halftime, I knew that was a pretty good sign that things would shortly turn around, especially to end the first quarter. Jimmy Butler hit like a three at the buzzer in transition to really to cut the lead to three, right? So after all that, it was only one possession game. And I knew as far as the win-loss, which is irrelevant in preseason, I knew the Heat were going to be just fine, and that's exactly what happened, because in the third quarter, the Heat went on a 24-2 run to make it pretty much a blowout. I know it said it was hanging around 10 in the fourth quarter, but really the Heat never looked back after that. Then we talked about the defense. The offensive ball movement just looks pristine. Part of the reason that I'm glad to see this core playing in the preseason is because every year for the last couple of years, they've got off to really slow starts. Particularly last year, I think they started 1-5. The offense wasn't looking great at all, and Jimmy didn't play in the preseason, so it looked like they needed that time to kind of mesh together. So I'm glad that this time around, they're actually getting a chance to mesh, because in their first game, this preseason, if you remember, there was a lot of turnovers. They didn't look great, and it's just been so much more smooth since you had Bam and Adebayo connecting with Jimmy Butler. We love to see that. Had a nasty full-court dime. Like, I wonder what Bam's doing on Sunday, because I'm certain he's better than Tyler Huntley. But anyways, I love seeing Jimmy and Bam connections, because I don't feel like we see that a lot from your two best players. Most of the time, they're not really interacting cohesively. It's more of like your turn, my turn. So I do like to see that when they do connect, I hope we see more of that this year. Bam and Adebayo hitting a great three today off a beautiful Terry Rozier driving kick. This is what I was telling y'all about yesterday. When you have this kind of spacing, it really opens up the lanes for driving kick, which is the best shot in basketball because you collapse the defense. And this time it was Bam and Adebayo on the receiving end. Just beautiful ball movement all game. And it really has me excited for this team's offense and defense coming into the season. I just feel like they're a very, very well-rounded team. And truthfully, as a guy who doesn't put a lot of stock into the preseason, I feel much better about them going into the season than I did before. You know, still a lot of things to work on. Nikola Jovic has been okay. The shot's not quite there yet. Spoelstra even played him a little bit longer into the third quarter when he took out the other starters to see if Jovic could find his groove. But I have to trust him at the end of the day. Same with Terry Rozier, who hasn't been super efficient either. But that's pretty much it about this game. We'll go through the box score real quick as always, see if we missed anything. Of course, you had Jimmy Butler, 24 points, his best game yet. The energy continues. Nikola Jovic today did get you only 5 points, shot 1 of 4. But as far as the fit, I like his fit in the starting lineup, and the defense continues to be reliable, which is all you really need from him. Bam today, 7-7, something light for your boy. Tyler Hero, stuff in the stat sheet, 19 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. He really looks like an improved playmaker again. I feel like that's something we saw a little bit last season. I don't think he can ever be a true point guard, but I do think he can be a guy that's can improve his shot selection. And a lot of that will be knowing when to attack, knowing when to find guys, because as a guy that can really score from anywhere on the court, Hero draws a lot of defensive attention. So now he's able to find a lot of guys, and we're seeing him find Jimmy cutting backdoor, Bam Adebayo in the lane. Just all kinds of great stuff from Tyler. And Terry Rozier today, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. So although he continues to be inefficient, 3 of 11 tonight, he can't always be counted on just to be a great facilitator. Saw him connect with Bam Adebayo again today. Off the bench, I guess, anyone really relevant here? Alec Burks continued to be a sniper. How he'll find time in the rotation, I don't know, but I got to feel like Spoelstra makes it work because he's that talented a player. Maybe he'll take some of Duncan Robinson's time, who hasn't shot great in the preseason from 3, but he has been pretty damn good at everything else. Very versatile, of course. And then Haywood Highsmith got you 16 points today, was working in transition and everything else that you love to see from him. So shout out to him. And he did get run with the second unit today because he did not last game. So it'll be interesting to see what the rotation actually is come first regular season game, which I think is a week from today. Of course, they got one more preseason game. That's on Friday versus the Memphis Grizzlies. I'd be very curious to see if Zach Edey plays. And I guess the rest of those guys, right? Because they bust our ass, or they didn't bust. We won the Summer League Championship game, but they gave us a run for their money. Of course, I think Gigi Jackson, unfortunately, who was great in the Summer League against us, I think he is injured. But I'd like to see Zach Edey and just kind of how he fares against Bam. Because so far, Bam's been great guarding these bigs. He's obviously good against Jokic. He was great against Wemby the other day. I'm very curious to see what he does against Zach Edey. And I guess it was disappointing to not see the number 1 pick tonight, Zachary Ricochet. Apparently, he's been having a good summer league. I haven't got a lot of chance to watch him yet, but I am curious to kind of see what kind of season he has. But neither one of those guys is my Rookie of the Year pick. I'll give you all a little teaser. My Rookie of the Year pick will be in tomorrow's video, which is me giving 5 bold takes for the NBA this season. So make sure y'all subscribe, like the video, stay tuned for that. Appreciate all the support, y'all. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace out, everyone.
Look, pull up in your city, tryna get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.